welcome to another edition of FLX Weekly here at FingerLakes1.com. It is February 16th, 2022, and we are live inside the FingerLakes1.com studio, where I'm joined by Jim Sinicropi and Nate Kurash, founder of FLX 420 magazine. We have a lot of fun things to talk about, but first, our sponsor today, kind of convenient, kind of goes hand in hand in my eyes. Cicino's Pizzeria and Restaurant. Can't decide what you want to eat for when a bit of everything sounds tasty. They have a snackatizer trio that you can start off your meal with, and they ask which finger food you're going to grab first. You have your choice of mozzarella sticks, pizza logs, chicken tenders, fried raviolis, steak fries, breaded calamari, or onion rings. You can see all of their delicious apps at Cichinos.com. So, like I said, I think that goes hand in hand because we're going to talk today all about cannabis, FLX 420 magazine, what your goal is for this, and I'm super excited, so welcome.
Thank you for having me. This is great. So nice to meet everyone.
Thanks for coming in.
Yes.
I don't even know where we want to start, but I want to know probably a little bit about you first.
Sure.
So if you could let us know who you are and how you got started in creating a magazine all about 420.
So originally born and raised in beautiful Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay.
Sad to say that I didn't even know the Finger Lakes region existed, which is it's only 4 hours from Cleveland, until I met my, at the time, girlfriend, now wife. We met on a dating website. And
Love that.
if it's not for that, I never end up here. But so spent years selling medical devices and software, and then through a really good high school friend, got me involved in the cannabis business in Missouri. And like I said, roads led me to the Finger Lakes, and here I am.
Beautiful. So you started in something completely different. You were selling mechanics, you said?
So I started off selling medical devices. And pharmaceuticals as well. And then I got into IT. So that was the first 10 years was medical. Last 12 years was IT and software. And I think, Sydney, as I explained when we first started talking, when it came to cannabis, I'm 46 years old, just turned 46, and I had not tried cannabis until I was 41.
That blows my mind.
Wow. And now you have a magazine, you're publishing a magazine.
Yeah, and, I like to be transparent and have full disclosure, but in Ohio, the first 2 times it was on the ballot, I actually voted against medical cannabis in Ohio, and a lot of it comes down to, and we can talk about it, just not knowing anything about it and all the preconceived notions.
Of course.
So, years later, here I am, and big proponent of cannabis, obviously, but like to talk about, again, I think it's maybe not for everybody, but I think now that it's legal, the idea of the magazine is just to help people understand what's out there and give them good, solid advice to make for a good experience.
Well, I think it's exciting because here in the Finger Lakes specifically, obviously the wine making came first.
Yes.
But now we do distilleries, ciders, breweries, and this kind of, the marijuana and cannabis business kind of fits right in too. It's exciting.
Dispensaries are going to start popping up.
Yeah, well, they should, because it's always been, to me, hypocritical. People that would oppose like marijuana legalization, but they'll go down to the bar and and do 5 shots of whiskey and maybe get in their car. And it's there's just a misunderstanding, I guess, that goes back to the early part of the last century with what was it, the Reefer Madness movie? Remember that?
Yep.
I don't even know what that is.
It just seemed hypocritical to me, and it's such an opportunity now for us in the region to develop another integration of mainly tourism. It's so. What
was the switch for you? So I think, again, it's amazing. Like, you are proof to people who are probably like, absolutely not, get the devil's lettuce out of my
devil's
state.
Lettuce.
Get it gone. But for you, someone who was kind of like that, what was the switch?
I think it was just that at that point in my life, I kind of held on to, as I became more mature and my friends, we got older, and some of them were still using cannabis, and I saw that they weren't all of a sudden becoming heroin addicts or going into heavy drugs.
Course.
So that kind of melting away of the path to other drugs, that kind of melted away. And then I was like, you know what? I kind of had held thought I turned my phone off. Sorry.
That's okay.
I had kind of held on to that. Hey, there's one thing, I can say at least one thing in my life that when I get older and have children that I've never tried it. Then I thought, well, but I don't know, not trying and not knowing, I think maybe it makes you not as good of an expert on it. So I said, hey, I'm going to try this one time just to simply see what it's like. And I realized, wow, it's not what I thought. And you mentioned earlier movies and things, and that's where a lot of people get their idea. Like, my initial thought on cannabis was that I would be out of control, that I wouldn't know what was going on, that I could, be taken advantage of and be smuggled away and have organs harvested. Yeah. And it's not like that.
Right. And now think if you were, smoking some cannabis, eating it, all the different ways you can ingest it now, you would probably laugh at that very hard at what you just said if somebody was like, you're going to get smuggled away.
Yeah, 100%. So now, that being said, having been new to it, and that's the whole goal of the magazine's education, is that the first couple experiences, first one was good, the second one was not good because I didn't follow a lot of the rules that people had set out for me, as in give it time to kick in. Yep. Just because you're not feeling it doesn't mean you take more. Quick story, that the second time I'd ever tried cannabis, a friend had a gummy and kind of left it there, and we were at a party and they kind of disappeared, and she came back and most of it was eaten over like an hour, and she's like, well, where's that gummy at? And I said, well, I know I've kind of munched on it. She says, you've eaten all this? I said, yeah. I said, it's only 3.6 servings. Well, everyone that knows me, I am the big picture guy and aren't really into details. It was 36 servings.
Oh my goodness! So yeah, so the deal there is like, you haven't, by eating all that, you have not put yourself in actual you're not going to get have to go to the hospital. You're not going to it's not like you can overdose, but you think you are.
Yeah.
Jim, I literally, it came over me like a wave that I had never experienced because it just all, and I can't. I literally felt as if I was pressed, like the universe, like gravity had multiplied by 50. And I was literally stuck in this couch, and I was begging my friend to please take me to the hospital.
Yeah, right.
I was convinced I was 100% dying.
Yeah.
Because that feeling is just awful. So what I hope to do is make sure that people never have those feelings.
Yeah, and part of it, that's the scary part, I guess, with edibles. You know, if you smoking it, and that's one of the stigmas too, is that it was always smoked, so it seemed
dirty.
Yeah, right. And smoking anything is dirty, honestly. But when it came into edible form, it's actually a little more dangerous if you're don't know what you're doing. So 100%. That's why when you buy anything like in any of these legalized states, and it's coming to New York soon, it's always child-proofed, and you still have to be careful to not just leaving it around because it's candy.
Sure.
Of course, yeah. So let's go to the positive sides of this magazine. What topics will people be seeing, and how can they get involved? Like, do they have to subscribe? How can they see it? Is it free for people? How's it going to work?
Great question. So the goal is I want to be able to bring together, we'll call it the consumer, so the user, and then the industry, right?
Okay, yeah.
You have to have an educated consumer that knows what they're buying, have good experiences to want to go back. The same token, though, you need to have a healthy industry to be able to provide a lot of options and good options in quality and pricing. So I really want to be able to connect the consumer with the soon-to-be cultivators and dispensaries. That's number one. In terms of getting access to the magazine, so we have our website, which will be, I don't want to call them watered-down articles, but kind of snippets of the articles that will be in the magazine.
Of course.
Right now, we are running a special that if you log on, and I think the promo code, and we can put it in our website, I think it's 420 if you put it in, you get 25% off. Ooh. But right now, regularly, it's our first inaugural year. We're going to have 4 issues, and it's $20.
Oh, nice.
So $5 an issue.
Right.
And for those that don't know, the same folks that publish the Life in the Finger Lakes magazine They're publishing FLX 420.
Oh, awesome.
Faye Williams Publishing in Geneva.
Yep.
Yes, we're very familiar with them around here, so that's great.
They're a
customer
know they're great of ours,
people.
And we actually built the 420 website, magazine website.
Which is so great.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a high-quality magazine. Again, want to provide information to the consumer. Want to make it a kind of a one-stop shop for people in the industry looking to make connections. And again, just really want to build an infrastructure for success.
Awesome. I just think it's great how you took you're not having experience to now kind of becoming someone with so much knowledge and to be able to educate people so they don't feel
well, it's kind of cool. I think it's kind of cool too that I think that most people would think, okay, the first cannabis related publication in the Finger Lakes is being launched by someone who had never tried cannabis until their 40s. I think the initial reaction would be that it's this, somebody that was on tour with the Grateful Dead, and there's just so much of that kind of stereotyping, I guess, around marijuana and cannabis. And from my experience, it runs the gamut. And now that it has become legal, I found so many people who now take it. I guess you could call it recreationally, but I don't even like that. A lot of my friends who never smoked it before or tried marijuana before now tell me, you know what, I eat a half a gummy before bed, I relax for about 15 minutes, and then I go to sleep. And these are people that maybe have had trouble sleeping, so it's a mild, I guess almost organic way of self-regulating a little bit for a lot of people.
Sure.
A lot of people. And which is a positive side. And then there's still the people that take it recreationally, the same they would drink a beer.
Sure.
So it's exciting to see. First of all, to decriminalize the act of using it in New York State when you could go across the border to Massachusetts and not be a criminal.
Yep.
That's just kind of weird. It's a hypocritical kind of dynamic there that just doesn't make sense. So, and then the opportunity for the region to capitalize on it. So it's also the question I had mainly about this magazine was, is it appealing more towards the business side of thing or the recreational user side? Like, what's the focus?
And that's great, Jim. I've done several interviews, and that's one of the questions. We're trying to split it right down the middle, because, again, you have to have an educated consumer.
Of course. And
you have to have an industry that's vibrant, right? So by having both, that's the key. Is I want to make sure that when dispensaries come online, when cultivators come online, we got to let the public know. And I'm sure you guys are aware, being in the media business right now, because of FCC regulations, and it's still illegal federally. You can't advertise on the radio. You can't advertise in a billboard. You can't advertise on, let's say, a television station. So we want to be, again, a platform.
Right.
Yeah.
Where and listen, all opinions are welcome. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm sure you'll get them.
And I'm a cannabis supporter, but people that don't, and I welcome a good, honest, discussion that doesn't have to get,
of course,
visceral. Let's just say that, let's talk about it. And remember, years ago, I was the person on the other side being adamantly against.
Right.
Yeah.
So I still can understand why people, and I respect that, but again, I just want to have a forum where everybody can learn and talk.
That's such a big part, I think, which is going to help so much in the long run, especially in the region. And I assume you've been doing some research on how this will positively affect the Finger Lakes areas.
Absolutely. And Jim, you said it earlier, and Sydney, I think you referenced it at one point as well. It's already, this area is built on tourism. I've maybe to ad nauseum, I call this postcard country.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, looking behind you, it looks like all postcards.
Everywhere you look, especially, the Finger Lakes through the hills and the lakes, everywhere you look, it's like you're transported almost like you're in Europe. You're in a different part of the world.
Yeah, people have come to the Finger Lakes, friends of mine, and going back even to college when my friends from Boston or even New York City or even North Carolina, they would come home with me and they would think that we lived in some type of, dreamland almost. Like they were so impressed, like they couldn't believe that we lived so close to all these lakes. And so that was the first thing that stuck out to me. That said, I've taken this for granted. This is a special place.
100%. And Sydney, I am a firm believer. You said talk about research and just the numbers I've heard and the projections. I believe within 3 to 5 years of the industry launching, okay, not from now, but when we actually, let's say starting in 2023, so close to 2030, I really believe that we will have not only the largest cannabis market in the country, potentially in the world.
Yeah.
And I'm if I could place a bet on this, I think at that point, cannabis sales will eclipse alcohol sales.
Wow. Yeah.
I really firmly believe that.
Well, it's something, if you want to compare it to alcohol, if you are a daily user of alcohol, that's not going to end up pretty well for you usually. But if you're a daily use, it's more of like a supplement, I guess, if managed properly.
Agree 100%.
So that is a key differential. And going back to the business development side of things, as far as it goes, you mentioned the federal being illegal federally. So that means that if you have a credit card, you can't use it to buy it, even if you're in a legal state.
Yep.
So that's something that I guess would be a deterrent to the growth of the industry. So there are weird things like that will be probably worked out over the next 5 to 10 years. And when it all does, that's when the real proliferation should happen here in the Finger Lakes.
100%. The feds, have been talking forever about the I think it's the Fair Banking Act, there's a banking act where they're trying to exactly either decriminalize at some point or make it legal. Because yes, if you're a dispensary owner, you're dealing in all cash. And this is some of the things we're going to cover in the magazine. Because everybody, my hope or my desire is to educate people.
Right.
Again, I'm in the business in Missouri. People have no idea how regulated this business is. It is insane.
Okay. Yeah.
Trying to open a bank account is, I want to say, close to impossible.
Jeez.
I mean, just any business that you currently have, if it's a cannabis business, and being a business owner, as you all know, is hard enough to begin with, right? If you own a cannabis business, multiply that by 100 because of all the extra steps from banking to the insurances to how you file your taxes. It's a nightmare.
That's crazy.
And yes, the feds need to step in because that is really what's hampering good, hardworking small business owners from getting ahead because of all the extra red tape. It's a nightmare.
Right. And just, they don't have any of this on cigarettes. They don't have any of this on alcohol. But, it's so new and they got to find a way to have a grasp on it in some way. So we're hoping and hopeful that in the next few years, like you said, you're getting a head start by doing this. You're helping people all around this area to be able to be educated. And when that time comes, I think you'll probably see more people who want to open dispensaries.
Yes.
If you have that market, why wouldn't you want to do it? It's a gold mine, I feel like, right now.
Well, it's a complementary thing to the wineries or to
it's perfect. It goes
liquor
hand in hand.
stores or bars. And business, like you said, business is hard. So this is another opportunity to create revenue, to create a reason for people to come. And it just fits in so nicely with everything else in the Finger Lakes that we've developed in terms of a wine and spirits, type of deal. It kind of fits in, and the food part of things too. I mean, we've seen stuff where
infused all that stuff.
Yeah, you can go on YouTube and watch all these videos of people who make these amazing dinners, cannabis infused dinners, and so there's just so many levels to how this fits in here with everything we have going on in the Finger Lakes.
Let's say that I'm a person who has never tried anything before, and how am I, in your experience, going to decide if cannabis is good for me or if it's not?
Great question. I think rule number one when trying cannabis, and I'm just going to speak about edibles for now.
Yeah, we'll do that.
One of my rules is try them on an empty stomach or kind of empty stomach.
Okay.
Because
the full effect.
Not only the full effect, but if you have eaten a big meal prior, then you take the cannabis. It's not going to get metabolized as quickly. So then that's when you run into, I don't know, I took it 45 minutes ago, I'm not feeling anything. And then you're always tempted to, maybe I should just take a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it hits your system and you're like, oh boy, here it is. So try to take it on an empty stomach. Drink lots of water. to help keep your system flush. I find that it can dehydrate you.
Mm-hmm. Don't drive.
Yes. I feel yes. Don't drive. Don't operate heavy machinery. Yes, all those normal disclaimers. Yes. Take it somewhere where you're comfortable. Don't, for the first time, go to a concert or a big party and
where you don't know anybody and it's
or
all
before
unknown.
You have to give a big presentation at work.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So take it, and I would say with somebody maybe that's experienced that can kind of walk you through it. Again, be patient. Wait 45, 60 minutes before you try a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Another big thing that I find people, they might be at a party, they're already drinking alcohol, they're kind of buzzing or drunk. Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm going to try cannabis for the first time. Mm-hmm. Being drunk and then trying cannabis is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, if you think mixing beer and liquor is bad, don't mix weed and liquor.
Because all of a sudden you're your body's trying to figure out what's going on, and then so again, empty stomach, drink lots of water, be someplace where you're safe and comfortable, and by all means, do not mix the two, at least to start, and especially if you're already drunk. Do not try cannabis.
It blows my mind we're even having this podcast, because if you think about even when I was a kid, we had the DARE programs and everything, and there's that commercial that stuck with me forever, and it's the person sinking into the couch, and you're like, do not do it. You're going to die if you do it. And now, shortly in a few years, I could see signs like this, like the steps, like you're saying, you could put it out there as PSAs, and it just blows my mind that we're here now in the present, because
it's a long time coming, and frankly a little too long, I think, because to me it has always been the height of hypocrisy that you could watch Budweiser ads or Jose Cuervo ads on TV and see it everywhere and have it glamorized, but yet even mention marijuana and you're a druggie.
Yeah.
It gets bleeped out of songs on the radio, and
it's crazy.
Makes no sense.
People, I think, today are trying to get away from normal doctors, and they're going holistic, and they're trying to be cleaner and natural and things like that. I'm like, this is growing right out of the ground.
There's also a lot of people that that don't drink for a particular reason. Maybe they are recovering alcoholic. Maybe they don't like the way it feels, and their friends are going on a wine tour, and that person now, maybe not yet, but in the coming years, will be able to go, and maybe they would prefer just to smoke marijuana or enjoy the trip with them without drinking. So, it just fits in nicely.
And Sydney, you brought up, kind of holistically and how people are using it differently. One other point is, once dispensaries open, find a good, they're called bud tenders instead of a bartender.
Love it.
And the good bud tenders, they know their products.
Yeah.
So don't be embarrassed. Go in there and say, hey, look, I'm a first-time user. I want to try something.
Yeah.
What do you recommend? And a good bud tender will lead you in the right direction.
It's amazing.
Take their advice. And again, that's the nice part about it is, and for people that haven't visited dispensaries, and you said you were on a trip, Jim, recently, they are high-end cigar stores, wine stores. They're not
connoisseurs.
They're not the dirty, grungy places that even I conceptualize.
Oh, it's way different. It's actually very sterile and very secure. So when you go, first thing they're going to do is check your. And again, it's almost over the top, because you can walk right into a package store in Massachusetts, and walk out with whatever you want without anybody checking your license. But here they check your license on the way in. You stand in line. You don't go shelf to shelf shopping. You go to a counter and usually go through an iPad and choose, and then they go. You can only get a certain amount, like 400 milligrams maybe per driver's license, and then they go into the back room, come out with a pharmaceutical type tray with your order in it, and then they pack it, and they tell and then you're not allowed, if you have another person with you, you each have to carry your own out. You can't even like carry your
wife's stuff out, like
so,
to be.
Yeah, crazy.
So it's really, but the farthest thing from
a back alley, car. Where you're doing a handoff, like, trust me, I don't know. I think it's awesome. I think it's all positive, and I think what you're doing is going to help a lot of people who possibly have never even thought that, oh, maybe I'll try it,
Yep, and again, the goal of the magazine is for the consumer, but also folks that are looking to get into the industry. We're going to do articles on just running a cannabis business 101. Right. A lot of people, the application comes out, and believe me, the application part, if you think that's hard, which it is, once you get awarded a license, that's when the work just begins. Like applying, if you win a license, is actually easy compared to get up and running. So we just want to bring in experts that can share knowledge so people can avoid making costly mistakes, because this business is expensive to get into. And if I can help people make mistakes with their hard-earned money, that's another goal as well.
Okay.
I also just thought of, while you're saying this, we're in the Finger Lakes, you see wineries with all their harvesting of grapes. Do you think we'll start seeing like hemp farmers and people in this region that can do that now on their land?
Yeah, so what's going to happen is that right now they're talking about, to kind of get some product up and running, growing, they might give some temporary licenses to hemp farmers, so because dispensaries are easy to stand up comparatively to like a cultivator, right?
Right.
So yes, I think you'll start seeing hemp farmers starting to grow in the anticipation of dispensaries opening. In terms of outdoor grows are good in theory, but the challenge is when you're growing outdoors, you only get one harvest a year. Then you're dealing with all the other
elements.
Elements, lack of rain, insects, molds.
Yeah.
So I foresee the majority of at least high quality cannabis will be grown indoors, or at least in
greenhouses, all that.
And it's different than like grapevines. It's just a different product. It can be grown in a compact indoor spot, which is a benefit.
I mean, a room this size, and by the way, beautiful studios for people that don't know. This is great. A room this size, you could have vertical racking systems, and they move and things. I mean, you could grow a good amount of product.
Good to know.
Get on it,
when we are moving into our new studio eventually.
Let's turn this into a grow
room.
You got lights ready to roll.
Oh, I love that. It's going to take thinking your local farmers to a new level, I guess.
Yes.
I think the Finger Lakes you're right. It's got so much potential. And
absolutely.
It's great. So in your mind, when do you think we'll see products actually available?
I foresee product, I'm going to say late this year at the absolute earliest, like November, December if you're lucky, most likely 2023. We have to have initial draft regulations released, then you have a 60-day comment period for the public, then they go back and tweak them a little bit, then I think there's a second comment period which is 30 days. So I see applications starting to be accepted, if we're lucky, June or July.
Wow.
And you're going to have so many people applying here.
I'm sure.
You're going to have thousands. So I think if all goes as planned, they may have some sort of phased approach. Like I said, end of this year if we're lucky, most likely 2023. Yeah. And when I say 2023, I'm thinking April, May, a year from now.
Yeah, wheels of government turn slowly.
Very slowly.
It's like American Idol, who's going to get the golden ticket to
become
the dispensaries here in the Finger Lakes. I love that. And I know we're already running out of time real quick, so we have so much that we could talk about. And you're actually he's going to meet up with Ted and do a more in-depth conversation about this stuff. So if people, are interested, they'll find it on Finger Lakes One. I see you brought us some goodies. I see some nice shirts, which I love.
I brought some shirts again. Yes. So if you guys want to wear these and help promote, that'd be great. FLX 420.
I love that.
So we're going to be selling them on the website. And then my mom and my mom likes to make chocolates, so now these are just regular chocolates. Sorry,
guys.
I follow the rules, but listen, these can be enjoyed maybe after these would be good little nibblers after you have some of your own cannabis. So,
okay, right, the rules. I forgot there's still rules in place.
Gotta follow the rules, guys.
Yes, understood. So if you want more information,
you're welcome.
You can go to FLX420.com.
Yep, and real quick, we're going to have our first networking event. So that's going to happen on 420.
Oh, perfect.
That's going to happen in Victor. So there's a group that's applying for a dispensary license. It's called the Finger Lakes Cannabis Company.
Okay.
It's the old train depot in Victor, right along the pathway there. So we're having our networking event there on 420. We're going to get some speakers, have some vendors, go to the website, go to Facebook, like and follow. And again, we look forward to seeing everyone.
Oh, I love it. And obviously, that's all the time we have. Jim was going to say the weather.
I can say the weather.
Okay, let's do it then. We don't have any rules here. Go ahead.
Yeah.
It's up and down, right?
Just real quick. Well, right now we're having a nice little break in the winter this week. It's supposed to be up to 57 tomorrow, Insane. Thursday, here in the Finger Lakes, with some rain, unfortunately. But check it out. It's a long weekend, too, for kids. President's Week at school next week. So Friday, chance of snow showers, mostly cloudy with a high near 25. Still cold overnight with a low of around 13. Then Saturday, partly sunny, high near 28. Pretty pleasant but breezy, and a chance of some snow showers. Saturday night, again cold, down to about 18. And then Sunday, mostly sunny with a high near 42. Monday, partly sunny with a high near 50.
Jeez.
So we all know that spring isn't here yet, but it's going to start to feel that way a little bit. And maybe we're going to, by the time the weekend's over and Monday rolls around, we might be done, have a lot of the snow on the ground gone. So
that would be nice. I'm ready.
That would be nice.
I'll give it like another month, and then I'm ready for all the warmth. Well, I'm getting there.
What's going on this weekend? Any plans?
I have Liam's last games, which I'm super sad about. I have a birthday party that I have to attend. Somebody's turning 50. I think you might know him.
Maybe you can give him a T-shirt.
I will. It's Jim.
Oh, happy birthday, 50. Well, you're doing something right.
Oops, was I supposed to tell you your age out loud?
No, that's fine. I'm 50. What are you going to do? I'm not 50 yet, but I will be.
The big 5-0. So
inevitable.
That's what I'll be doing this weekend. Will you be doing the same?
I'll be at that party. Yeah, it's going to be a big one.
That'll
and then Sunday, the next day, I think I'm taking my daughter to the Syracuse women's lacrosse game at the Dome. So I'm excited about that. I'm most excited because she asked. She's like, "Hey, I want to go to." So
that's a good.
So we'll go.
That'll be great.
Awesome.
You have anything exciting this weekend?
This weekend, yes, actually, my wife and I will be going to dinner, kind of a late Valentine's Day dinner.
Perfect.
We have a 9-month-old, so we don't get out much.
Oh, yeah.
So, where are you going?
I think there's the Fire and Ice Festival.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah,
in Auburn.
Yep. Auburn, I think, or Canandaigua?
I don't know which one.
Canandaigua.
Oh, somewhere. Yeah. She's like, hey, and I'm like, listen, whatever you want. Happy wife, happy life.
Yes,
that's right.
Take notes if you didn't hear that. Happy wife, happy life. Congrats on the new baby.
Thank you.
Congrats on the new business.
Yeah, thank you for coming in. Hopefully we'll talk to you again soon. And
I love it.
As Sydney mentioned, Ted will be doing some more in-depth interviews. So keep an eye on
with some other people
homepage.
That are in the industry already. So I think it'll be great. So just like that, thank you for coming. Thank you everybody who watched. If you enjoyed the show, you can click like, you can share with your friends, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll be back again next Wednesday for Wine Wednesday. We're going from Cannabis Wednesday to Wine Wednesday. Until then, have a great weekend.